New reports of long lines at several American airports. This is Newark Liberty International, where flyers experience extended wait times at security. TSA agents are working without pay and losing patience fast. CBS's Tim McNicholas is there with major problems looming this spring break. Tim.
Good evening, Jerika. Many TSA workers live paycheck to paycheck, and this is now the third federal funding lapse in the last year. This time it's happening during the spring break travel rush.
Security starts here.
From Austin, Texas to Philadelphia, New York City to New Orleans, travelers are running into long security lines and travel headaches.
I might miss the flight, and I have a connection to my hometown in Wisconsin.
Federal data shows more than 300 TSA employees have resigned during the partial shutdown. Unscheduled absences have doubled. The TSA says it's adjusting operations to deal with staffing challenges.
They're working other jobs, they're donating plasma, they're going to food banks when they get off work.
Johnny Jones is a TSA officer at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport and the secretary-treasurer of the union representing 45,000 TSA officers nationwide.
A lot of people, sometime in the middle of next week, they're going to run out of money. They don't have no way of getting to work. They won't have a car with gas to drive to work in.
Democrats have refused to approve the Department of Homeland Security's budget unless GOP lawmakers and the White House agree to changes to ICE, including requirements for agents to wear IDs and remove their masks.
Yesterday, DHS began playing this video in airports, blaming, quote, the ongoing Democrat shutdown of the TSA for longer than average wait times.
One thing that's pretty consistent that I've heard from the workforce, they are tired of being political pawns in the middle of a tug of war between the political parties that we have running our government.
Jones says even though officers feel demoralized, they are committed still to protecting the flying public. Now, keep in mind, if you miss your flight due to TSA delays, you are not eligible for a refund. That's considered outside the airline's control. Jerika.
All right. Good information. Thank you, Tim.
There are long lines at US airport security, and it could get worse. Hundreds of TSA workers have quit, and about 6% have called out of work because of the partial government shutdown, CBS News reports. The Transportation Security Administration says more than 300 agents have already left their jobs. Workers missed their first full paycheck this weekend after funding for DHS, which oversees TSA, was paused while Republicans and Democrats are at a standoff over federal immigration reform. Some airports are asking travelers to arrive up to 4 hours earlier than their flight's departure time just to get through security. The travel delays come as spring break is underway and as winter weather is causing more delays and cancellations in the Midwest.
It's hectic at the airports. Cancellations, the government shutdown, you got the war, we got extreme weather conditions. It's just not the time to be flying right now. Spring break, not that important. It might have to be pushed back to a later date. Hey, listen, I don't think it's time to be flying, me personally. Not right now. Especially not to go to Houston and get scammed, because that's what everybody doing for spring break. They going down to Houston. It's not worth it, man. But hey, to each his own. You just won't see me flying. Not with all of this going on. Stay at the crib. And then the cost of flights up anyway.
Last week, screening lines hours long, some of them snaking all the way out to parking garages or onto runways in some cases. TSA workers are walking off the job. You know, Chad Wolf, when you see this FlightWare map, and I don't know, we call it the misery map, you see at the top, it shows more than 4,000 delays, more than 3,000 cancellations already today.
That's today. That's as of 2 hours ago. 4,768 delays, 3,295 cancellations. Streaming from Miami, Atlanta, New York, Chicago, all over, man. All the way from down south to the West Coast.
My hope is that Democrats will come to their senses, open up DHS, and then have a negotiation, have a conversation.
I don't blame them for quitting. I wouldn't work if I'm not paid. I don't think you will work if you're not paid. You would do the same exact thing. Expecting somebody to work without pay, and then you got somebody like Trump in there who last government shutdown, he said he not gonna pay him at all. I think they did end up getting paid. Y'all tell me or not. Maybe you know somebody that worked during the government shutdown, or maybe it was you. Did y'all end up getting paid? I think they had to pay them, but still, you got threats of not getting paid. You're already not getting paid through it. I don't blame them.
Guys, we're still in a partial government shutdown. Now, I know we have a lot going on. There's a lot going on, okay? And there's a lot to absorb at any given moment. With that being said, we're still in a partial government shutdown. So agencies like TSA, the Coast Guard, are currently being impacted by this shutdown. They are not being paid, y'all. And TSA is reporting that upwards of 300 employees have since quit. They said, we not doing this no more. Get somebody else to do it. And you know what? I can't blame them because there was a shutdown last fall that affected them. There's a shutdown again that's affecting them. Apparently, the government jobs are not the safe, reliable, guaranteed paycheck type jobs anymore. They used to be. Once upon a time, you got a government job and you just knew this was going to be the only job you needed for the rest of your life, and you was going to retire with a nice little pension at the end of it all. Now, not so much. Not so.
Now Trump might cut you. He might downsize and let you go. Ever since his second term, having a government job has been a headache, I'm sure, for anybody that works for the government. Having a government job is basically like the Wild Wild West, you know?
Reliable, at least not under this president, because 2 government shutdowns under his belt in a 6-month period is wicked work. Piss poor leadership. So I'm hearing the airports, especially the major airports where I live, JFK is one of the major airports. I'm hearing the airports are a complete zoo because they are so short on staff as far as TSA is concerned. Now, just to remind you guys, why are we in this partial government shutdown? Because the Democrats were like, we are no longer going to fund ICE's operations. We're not letting ICE and Border Patrol continue to do what all they've been doing. We don't feel comfortable continuing to pour money into this kind of behavior, this rogue, wild, wild west behavior. Now, this is the thing. They got mad bread, over $100 billion in the one big blasphemous bill. And so it's not that the money isn't there. It's that Congress is saying, we're not going to allocate it in this way right now. We're going to put a pause on it right now because things have to be figured out. Just for Border Patrol and ICE, though, right? So just for those particular agencies. What the Republicans could do, because they are in charge, what they could do is make an agreement with the Democrats to fund the Coast Guard, TSA, and FEMA, the other agencies that are being impacted. They could make a deal. We're going to fund these other agencies, and we're going to continue to negotiate on making sure that ICE officers are uncovering their faces like any other officer has to do, making sure that they wearing name tags and identifying themselves like any other officer has to do, making sure that they not doing roving patrols, rolling through our cities and just doing as they please, right? Like basic things, nothing crazy. The Republicans was like, yeah, nah, we not doing that. We not doing that. So here we are. Partial government shutdown. God bless if you flying. Y'all already know I'm not. Not right now. Not that I don't want to. But I'm going to hold off just for now.
Like you should. I'm doing the same thing. I don't see no problem with them having to identify themselves and show their face. I mean, if I was an immigrant or a migrant, whatever you want to call it, if I was a migrant, I'd be a little nervous they hopping out with face masks on, looking like thugs. Really looking like YNs hopping out on me now. So that's understandable, right? I always got to put myself in other people's shoes. Who want to get hopped out on like that? That's terrifying. When y'all last administration let them in the country in the first place. So y'all gonna let them in, now y'all want to kick them out. As I always say, I can't go over to Bali right now and stay there illegally. I got to have a visa. I understand that. There are rules and protocols that have to be followed for you to be a part of a country, for you to reside within inside a country without going to jail or being deported. Them shutting the government down over this again makes no sense. I think it's something much deeper, me personally, and I've been telling y'all. This is the surface level information that they give us, but they want it this way. They see the repercussions behind it, and they still allow it to go on. They just playing their hand in the fall, honestly.